What if your results are not plateauing because of your technical marketing? What if it's something else? The guest we just had for the last hour is one of the most inspiring guests I've actually ever interviewed. And if you listen to the story that he has to share with us, he went from being an electrician to building a 7-figure practice based purely on internal referrals. Not because of his marketing, because of something else. And now he's developed a new technique that he's going to share with us, which will bring vitalism back to the chiropractic profession. This is Dr. Jim Claussen, and I'm very proud to now get us back to the show so you guys can enjoy what I just experienced as being one of the listeners to someone amazing with an amazing message. Guys, welcome back to another episode of Practice Peak, and today's guest, Dr. Jim. I'm super pumped. It's like 7 a.m. where they are. He's been awake for 2 hours already, creating value for the audience. But every interview we have, and we just spoke this offline, Dr. Jim, it's so much more important for me, for the audience to understand that this is not scripted.
Yes.
And for us to have a theme. And for us, the theme today for you docs listening out there is adjusting with purpose. So Dr. Jim, welcome.
Yes. Thank you, Stefan, and thank you for having me. I very much appreciate you here.
Yeah.
Before we get going on this, I want to give you a shout out because I was watching one of your podcasts, and you had done this like pyramid about success. And you started on the bottom was a survival, then it was self-actualization, then it was success, and then it was significance. And that to me like struck my heart when I was watching you going, that's it. And we all have this process as your audience is starting to this game of growth, right? That setup that you gave them, absolutely brilliant, sir. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you so much. It's definitely not my work. It's shamelessly borrowing from standing on the shoulder of giants that have done in the past.
Yes, sir. Agreed with you 100% because that's all I'm doing.
Good stuff. Well, Dr. Jim, speaking of giants in the industry, you've been doing this for a long time, and from interviewing some of the world's greatest, I find this. There might be some elements that you have this DNA, this wiring to be successful in the thing you do, whatever success means to people. But also I think character over time is built. Scar tissue is built. So I think it's important for the audience to know Dr. Jim before he became Dr. Jim. So tell me, like, I'm thinking childhood when you were 10 to 15 years old, 5, 10, 15, bringing you back now to some good memories, hopefully.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, I was born in a large family. I'm the first boy of 5 kids.
Wow.
Middle American, blue collar, union kind of people, work hard. And phenomenal family, great mom, great dad, and, we didn't have much, didn't have all the designer clothes and such, and there was enough food on the table to keep us fed. But I was taught how to work. I was taught that if you want something, you had to work hard to get it. Like today's day, you hear all this from all these families, like, you can be anything you want to be. No, you can't. I can't be a chicken. No, sorry. I can't be the king of England. No, not going to happen. But I can be anything I want to be with hard work. And that's the ethic that I was raised on is you want something, go earn it. And if you work hard enough, then you can help and create anything you want. And so that's what I was raised with. So I went into electrician job. That's where I started. So I was an electrician for 5 years. Yeah. So my wife and I had gotten engaged young at 19. We were together. So we're celebrating 40 years together this year, which is amazing. But I started out with like, I'm going to be an electrician. Her dad was an electrician, so he liked me. And then I've had a few experiences in life that caused me to turn left. So
do you mind me asking, are you happy sharing?
Yeah. So I had dislocated my shoulder 6 different times. The last time was twice playing football, weightlifting, throwing a softball, basketball. The last one was getting pulled by a boat. I was water skiing, and my arm literally got pulled out of my socket and it was under my pec muscle. And yeah, it was ugly. Thank God for life jackets because it saved my life. And after I got done with that experience, I still work because I had a bandage around my shoulder. My boss, so I'm still trying to bend pipe with basically one arm. I'm doing this kind of work, right? Trying to wire cans and all this other stuff. My boss is like, listen, I'm going to lay you off. So you got to stop playing. Because I'm like, wait, what? Lay me off. I had no security because we were a non-union shop.
And how old are
And
you back then?
I was 22,
20. So you're super young still.
22. I was super young. And so we had our plan. And I'm like, you're going to lay me off? And I'm getting married. And I have to provide for my family. And I have to support and raise it. And I have no certainty, which is part of my whole game of certainty. I have certainty because I had to earn it. So in that process, long story short, the union wasn't taking people. I tried to get in, didn't make the game for their standards. I had the union starting to show up on my job because now they tried to get me in the back door because they figured out who I was and like, oh, don't worry about school. We'll give you the card on the back end. And I'm like, I don't play politics. So no, thank you. Get out. And I was driving one day in the middle of summer. It's 100 degrees. I'm sweating my butt off because I got this big brace on my shoulder, keeping my shoulder down. Put 300 recess cans in this one house in Chicagoland, big, huge mansion thing. And I'm driving to go get my chiropractic adjustment. And my Jeep breaks down in the middle of the road. 5 o'clock, traffic everywhere. My Jeep's broken. I'm pushing my Jeep, one arm by my side. I push it off to the road. I walk 2 miles down the road and I sit in this guy's office. I took my little support off and I said, this guy works in air conditioning. I want to work in air conditioning from now on. So I turned left. My wife, I had to call her on the phone with a cord. You guys probably don't know what that is, but I had to call her and I'm like, hey, come get me. She was actually my fiance at the time. And I said, you got to come pick me up. And then she picks me up. I said, I'm going to be a chiropractor. And she said, okay. And
Supportive partner.
Very much so. Very much so. She's been working with me for 33 years. So she runs our office.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
it's been amazing. But that turned me and that whole thing, like, so I learned that if you want something, go get it. And you got to work hard. And if you don't know, figure it out.
Thank you so much. I just think there's always this rock bottom moment, isn't there? There's always this like
Yeah.
defining the decision can take you like 10 years to make,
Yep.
but the change actually, for me, the change is like, boom, there is no way I'm going back. Once you see it, there's no way of unseeing it.
Yep. That is exactly it, Steph. And that you hit the nail on the head. So when it comes time, like, Tony Robbins talks about pain or pleasure.
Mm.
One of those two things move you, pain or pleasure. And most of us, me, pain. Ow, okay, I'm done. And if we can do that in a minute, that's great. But sometimes, like you say, 10 years later, what happened?
Dr. Jim, let's upset the audience 7 minutes into recording, shall we?
Please. I love it.
It's all said with love. Who do you think works harder, your generation or mine?
Mine.
100%. I agree.
I outwork all my docs, dude. They're great people. I've had great associates over my career, but they all look at me like, how? To your point of being up at 5 a.m. My team's not up. I am.
It's interesting though, isn't it? This me and Dr. Tim Young spoke about this on one of the shows. We said about the whole like cycle of how hard men create easy times for the next
Yeah.
generation, and then it all goes back. And I'm seeing like I don't know if you're
Yeah.
seeing that this
Yeah.
cycle of the work ethic versus work-life balance, and I don't even know if that thing exists, but it's really interesting to understand who you were, what your identity was prior to becoming a chiropractor.
Yeah. No,
So I
I
think
agree with you. And that whole process of understanding that I'm trying to give my kids something I never had, which makes them softer. And it's a cycle, it's normal. It's nothing against anybody's generation. You're not doing it wrong. But we have to understand that if I could back up a second to go, well, I have to work hard too. Maybe not as hard, good. Because maybe I've created some of the paths, good. But you still got to take the hike.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
still going to
absolutely.
have to walk it. But I've shown you some angles that don't go to the cliff over here. Stay straight-ish. You can wobble-ish, but you're still going to have to work hard.
I love that. Well, yeah, we'll definitely go in the nuances of hard work and the amazing things and projects you're working on and creating. Um, yeah, it's interesting. There's this YouTuber who keeps interviewing billionaires, and it's like, who do you think works harder, your generation or mine? And every generation says, my generation
Mine.
works. And
Is it?
I'm thinking the same for the youngsters now coming out of university, that there is this like level of entitlement and so on.
Mm,
It might be my perception, I'm not sure.
no.
But you touched on the point, and I actually think the biggest investment in life personally is how do I bring up my kids and who's my life partner. I think for me that's been the biggest return on investment. Not marketing, not strategy. And you, this is a selfish question, but sometimes when I ask selfish
Please.
questions, it helps a lot more people out there. You said you guys didn't have much blue collar family. You didn't have much. You had to work hard. But now, and you told me you built a seven-figure practice because of results. We'll definitely talk about that. I think our business audience will love that too. But your kids, I guess, were born into a family of abundance.
Mm-hmm.
What are the lessons that you try to teach them? Do we show them by example? Do we lecture them? Do we just let them make their own choices? How many kids do you have? Do you mind me asking?
So I have five daughters.
Oh my goodness. So you're like a family of, you're the fifth sibling and you followed,
So yeah, five girls, from 30 to 19 now. So all my kids are up and out. So my wife and I are technically empty nesting.
you're happy.
Um, Very much so. Yeah, love it. I wouldn't trade it any other way. And the game of teaching them, like all of my kids have seen me work hard, and they know that it takes hard work to get to where we are. And so nothing has been given to them. We've been showing them along the way. So we make them work just as hard. You know, we've given them, like, we've covered all of their expenses for schools and covered all the colleges and all that stuff. So they didn't come out of school with debt. They came out of school with a piece of paper and a degree and said, okay, here's where we're going.
Mm,
So, but they understand that this is the plan and this is the process. And there's nothing for free. So we've
yeah.
shown them that.
I
Not
really,
easy.
yeah, I'm really struggling because we have a 4-year-old son and expecting a baby girl in the summer. And I always think like, I come from nothing. I've seen mom and dad work very, very, very hard. How do I teach someone that has everything, concepts? And what you said maybe points towards they watch what you do rather than listen to what you say.
100%. And with my daughters, no offense to all the ladies out there, yeah, they don't listen to anything I say. I get a lot of this, Stefan. He's talking again. And I love them. But the game is, they see. So again, results drive. You know, you want to have abundance. This is how you go there. It's not that hard. Effort.
Love that.
It's effort. Give effort. Give excellence. Like, we're not perfect people. We're effort. We're excellent people. We drive with excellence. We drive with that purpose behind, because I have a desire. So that desire then leads and makes this, I don't want to say easy, but easy.
Mm,
Like, yeah, what are you stopping? No. What am I stopping for? Stopping for what? No, I'm going, because
and
it's part of the purpose, and that just makes life wow. You know, am I happy? Yes. Am I satisfied? Yes. Am I done? No, not done.
okay, this
Still
is
living.
perfect. This is perfect because you've been doing this for over what, 30 years now?
33. Yeah.
33 years. Wow.
Yeah.
And most clinicians, doctors, business owners at this stage are thinking, let's sell the business, let's slow down, let's put my feet up. You seem to be building teaching platforms, and we're going to talk about neuroadaptive technique and concepts. What's still driving you?
Yeah. So miracles.
I love
Like,
that.
I'm here to understand that there's miracles to be seen, there's miracles to be had, there's miracles to be produced. And in the chiropractic world, to me, in the health profession, there's nobody better at helping set the stage for a miracle than a chiropractor, not just back pain. And
Yeah.
so I see this every day, and we get to watch these kiddos and watch these families get their lives back so that they can take off on a trajectory that says top shelf. And when I get to see this, and I want to, it's not mine, but I've been gifted this through all of other people that I've studied and all the books that I've read and all this. Like, give it to somebody else. My idea is like, here, take it and make it better. I expect all my kids to pass me. I expect all my doctors that I've trained to pass me. That's the goal here. Like, I want them to outshine me. Please go. Not me shining over you. No, 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 no. I'm just the spark to get the game going.
That's
So
amazing.
because I see that, that's again a step in the direction of, to your thing about that mastery and the mentorship. Like, I'm at that point, and I didn't even think about that till I heard you on your podcast, and I'm like, that's brilliant, because I've done all of those steps. And
Yeah.
to that point of number two, the self-actualization, like, who am I? I ain't nothing. I'm just Jim. Okay. But I've reached a level of success that I'm like, well, how can I give it back? And I
Yeah.
receive more from my little patients than I can give them. I get more from my families than I can give them. And to me, I'm like, oh man, okay, well, I'm going to give anyhow. Let's keep trying. I'll see if I can match. But I receive so much from this. And that's my fuel because I see it and it's fun as heck.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, because one of my questions later on was I was thinking before we talk about the techniques and going into chiropractic and philosophy and so on, I was thinking if someone has been practicing for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and they're losing that fire in the belly, the spark,
Yeah.
what do we say to those people?
So when I hear somebody's lost their spark and their to me that sounds like maybe you're just bored. Maybe, and if you're stuck in the rut of just taking care of, like back pain Bob, and that's what you've done, and it's personal injury, and it's always a fight, and it's always an injury of some kind, and you're waiting for someone to fall to get hurt to come and see you. I mean, it could be a grind, I guess. And so if you've lost the spark, it's like open up your eyes, take a step back, pause, and try to go back to your first question. Like, who was I when I was a kid? Who was I when I was before a chiropractor? I was a kid that was grinding. That's who I was. Well, that didn't change. I'm still a kid. Maybe have a gray beard at this point, but I'm still a kid. And now I know that I can find my spark again. So if somebody's lost, pause and then maybe look and go, okay, well, who are you? To that second level of self-actualization. You have to be aware of who you are and why. Why are you doing this? My why is huge. Trying to make an impact. We impact families. That's the goal. How do I impact you? Not so you can swing a golf club better. I don't care. But all of a sudden, if that connection, communication, that chiropractic allows us an innate to open, and if a chiropractor can make an adjustment to allow a conscious thought to create it, because now I can think, because I'm not so full of subluxations and static possibility, sky's the limit.
Incredible.
Sky's the limit.
Incredible. Yeah, and for me when I do these interviews with amazing people like yourself, I'm involved in the interview. And when I listen to the interview for a second and third time, every time it's like ding ding, there's a light bulb moment. And I just had one. Every time I've interviewed someone who's built the scar tissue, who's done the work, who's impacted thousands of lives in one way, shape, or form, they have the same thing to say, which is this why.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope the listener or people that watch this actually, there's a book called Slow Down to Speed Up, I think.
Mm. Okay, I've heard it.
And the concept is this like, if you're just constantly doing stuff and it's become such a like automated process and you don't step away from your practice, especially for business owners, you're just on autopilot and you live a life and you're 85 and you look back and you go, I remember like 7 significant things.
Yeah.
So I heard this on an interview once that they chase moments and you
Mm.
call them miracles.
Yes.
What like you cannot be bored. Now I
No.
now I now I listen to you. There's no way you can be bored.
No. No.
So let's
Not
talk
even
about
close.
this. Let's talk about this project because I'm really pumped for it and I'll help you guys in any way, shape, or form we can to like put the word out there. NAT, neuro adaptive technique. Am I
Yes.
saying it right?
Yes. Neuroadaptive technique. Yes.
Let's talk about it. First of all, 99% of the user base here is chiropractors. So let's talk to the chiropractors before we talk
Sure.
to patients. What is it? What is neuroadaptive technique?
So this is a combination of 33 years of taking care of people, but 33 years of learning different techniques, finding out the pieces of each of the techniques, because there's what 280 something, 281 now techniques, and they all have a value and they all work. And I've put them into a place where I'm like, I have a system so that I can get feedback and the patient can get feedback. And the process of reproducibility and does the one thing that all of this leads me to certainty. So, have you ever had the experience, Stefan, where you adjusted somebody and you did HVLA on their neck or their low back and they get up and you're like, Doc, it still hurts?
Uh, I, I used to get it all the time.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe I did it too strong. Maybe I did it not hard enough. Maybe I'll try it again. It didn't make a noise. Let me do it again. It didn't make a noise. Let me try it again. And so if you don't have some way to assess in the minute that, no, it's changed. Hang on. I showed you it's different. It's already, it's going to heal. Give it a second. It still hurts. Like, oh, I know. That's okay. Don't worry. I showed you because if there's mechanisms that we can teach that give you the feedback so that you know I changed the game. The neurology shifted because your body changed, and I showed you it changed. And as soon as people can start to see that for themselves, now they know, oh, well, that was different. How'd you do that? And you get a lot of head tilts. Whoa, that's weird. What? I go, I know science is weird. I love weird science. It's good, right? So it's been a process, and I've put this together so there's basically like five steps. First step is mindset, which is that whole thing that BJ Palmer talked about. Every chiropractor has to adjust with something extra, and that is your presence, your ability to show up with that adjustment time and time again all day long, no matter what your volume, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 visits a day, doesn't matter. You have to show up exactly right.
Do you have
And
a
then,
personal, just on that point, my guys struggle a lot. And I just always think like, what is a tip or a strategy or a tactic or something tangible that I can, there's not going to be a magic pill, I guess, but something to reset your mindset so you're intentional and you're present with every patient in front of you.
yeah,
And,
Stefan,
and,
that's a
and
good
do you think it's
question.
teachable?
Yes, 100% yes. So this is something I don't know if Jimmy Parker, who started Parker Chiropractic College back down in Texas there. So this is back in the 60s, 1960s, forever ago. Um, he talked about PTC, present time consciousness. And it's kind of a lost thought in our profession now, okay? Which is partly what whole NAT is coming back to. I'm bringing presence back to chiropractic. I'm bringing vitality back to chiropractic. Because if we come with that present time conscious, and to that point, Stefan, it's like the simple thing would do, and it's like I have literally 5 steps from one of my tables to another of my tables, 5 steps. And as soon as I'm done with Mrs. Jones, I have 5 steps to get to the next person where I have to, and I'll literally go something like this: unplug over here.
Mm.
And when I walk in over to this room, now I'm plugged in to Mr. Jones and I'm 100% present with you. I just left her, so now I'm done. So that visual of unplug and plug in, I'm present, I am here, I am now. Thank you. Let's go.
That's actually so useful. So
Okay.
there has
Simple,
to be,
simple, simple.
yeah, yeah. Ah, that's amazing. And also simple scales. It means I can teach the concept to 5 clinicians. We can hopefully
Yes.
find our unique trigger because any
Yeah.
habit requires that. I used to have these like green dots, like tiny little green stickers stuck on
Yeah.
each room. So
Yeah.
before the chiropractor goes in, they'll press it.
Yep.
But it's getting that into their
Yep.
like habitual system, so it becomes second nature.
Yes.
I love that.
100%. And again, as
Present
you know,
time consciousness.
routine. Yeah. You know, routine, Stefan. And again, the game of just do it again and again and again. I was a sticky note guy. I had little square notes all over the place. Drove my wife nuts. She said, "Get those down." I'm like, "I need them."
Yeah, we need them. Okay, I love that. You're the second person in like a month to talk about PTC. The gentleman, Dr. Stuart Burnson, had
Yeah,
like 170 clinics, and he said
yeah,
that was one of the most important pieces of mentorship and coaching we will do with the clinicians, with the providers, was PTC. And you're the second person to
100%.
mention that.
Yes, sir. 100, and he's accurate because that's where the miracle comes from. Like the miracle comes from your presence. Like, who am I to change anything? Who am I to change anybody? But it's like, so I ask this question to my patients all the time. I go, "How do you get rid of darkness in a room?"
Switch
Turn
on
a
the
light
light.
on.
Yeah.
Turn on a light. I go, "Okay, so you turn the light on, but how'd you get rid of the darkness?" And you go, "I don't, what?" Because it confuses them. So when you are in that presence, the present What's the other word for a present? You give it to your kid on a birthday? A
A
gift?
gift.
Ah. So you're the gift for that person. Your presence is their gift. And if you create this connection with your patients and you show up with that present and they're here to receive, which is when they're subluxated, they don't receive very well, right? When you go, oh, you look good. I like your hat. And you're like, oh gosh, this whole thing, I bought it off of a homeless person. What? I didn't ask that. I liked it. Don't give me some excuse. Just say thank you. Receive it. And people have a hard time receiving. But when you are in that present time consciousness, that light that comes in, that changes the game for
Wow.
that person. And that's again the start of all the whole process of the technique and the start of the whole process of the miracle that I'm expecting for that person, because I know that if you receive light, changed,
We're good.
game changed, lights on. Okay. Does it happen instantly? Sometimes yes, 100% yes. Does it happen every time? In my opinion, yes. If they follow along, it will.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's
thank you.
guidable.
This is important. This is important because I kind of interrupted you, so apologies, but there was 5 steps, and I think the first one, I guess if
Mhm.
it's missing, the process
Yeah,
becomes less effective. That mindset
100%.
piece.
So, like to me, like if we and most chiropractors have gone to and they're teaching this in schools, the mechanistic part, right? So they won't even call it a subluxation anymore. They're calling it a joint restriction or something. And if we lose the term, we're lost. Because if you're just a mechanistic guy or gal or doctor, whatever is what I mean, sorry, is that you're just going to go and crack things and send them on their way. You've missed the point. Oh, but I got a noise out of every joint in their body. Okay. But again, you've missed the point. So BJ Palmer talks about adjusting primaries. And the primary might be one, might be two, maybe three patterns or subluxations that are stuck, but you have to release the primary. And when you do that, all the ancillary things disappear. The body knows how to heal. Innate's amazing. It knows how to run. It's beating your heart right now. It's digesting you right now. It's making your eyes blink right now. You don't have to think about innate. But when we can connect to it and talk to it, again, that's the start. And if you skip the start, mechanistically, you might have cracked things, but the vitalism part, you missed it. And maybe you hit it occasionally just because you throw it at the wall, something sticks. Okay. Well, that's one thing. But if you do it every time intentionally with the whole first step mindset set up with that presence, now the game changes every
I,
time.
and going back to, wow, how much more certain will that make doctors, the profession, and therefore patients that need us?
100%.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Because you're
so
not guessing.
yeah, I mean, this is what we need. And did you say so? So the technique that you're developing and you're building the system has 5 steps. One is mindset. What are the other four?
So the second one is balancing parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. So it's a face down part of the technique that literally gets somebody to go from support, fight, survival physiology, turns on the brakes. So that when they're laying there or sitting, I can do this in any way, shape, or form, and I can teach all that. But you set the table, you get the body to start going, oh, to open to receive. Because if they're in fight physiology, I mean, we've all done this, and you're trying to make an adjustment on somebody, and they're all tense, and you're like, wiggle your toe. I got you. Okay, that was a good one. Right. But like again, so you fought them with a fight. Well, now I'm still in a fight. So the first step is turn the brakes on. And that sets the table so that when I give my correction and I set them up to give an adjustment, it literally is like butter. And when I then sent the third step is find the primary. And there's a way to connect innate to innate where you just find out, like you can ask the body. There's a process to assess and go, okay, here it is. You zone in and go, okay, it's T9, it's C2. Got it. How do you know? There's ways to ask the body. There's ways to connect. So you follow along. And when you make that correction and you adjust the primaries, that opens up the door. Now the body can receive an adjustment without hard force. So talk about being excited. I can adjust 80 to 100 people in a day, and I'm just like this at 7 a.m. and like this at 7 p.m. going, okay, who's next? Are we done? Is there anybody else in the room? Okay, I guess I'm going home now. See you tomorrow. Not dragging my butt out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Um, Before we talk about more in-depth stuff, I actually genuinely want people to find out more about this, the thing you're building, the platform you're building, the movement we're making. What is it you guys are running in April? And hopefully this episode can be live before then for anyone
Yeah,
listening or watching.
thank you. I appreciate it. So we have a day and a half. So I got 13 hours. Starts Friday at noon, goes to Sunday or Saturday at 5.
Hmm.
And it's a hands-on live training going through all 5 of these steps.
Okay, and
And I'll
that's
give a lot of
April?
practical, say that again,
That's in April, end of
April
April?
23rd, 24th and 5th.
24th, 25th. Okay, I'll
I
put
believe
that in the
that's the
show
dates. It's
notes.
a Friday, Saturday, 24th and 25th.
Great. And
Um,
your team can maybe send me a link to where people can find out more, they can book, and they can inquire more about it.
yeah, thank you. I'll have Megan do that. So it's neuroadaptivetechnique.com. But yeah,
Okay.
I'll have Megan send you that link. And then our Instagram is just that neuroadaptive technique on
Yeah. Yeah.
Instagram.
I actually think people should go and follow you, just even in the short clips I've watched you. It absolutely makes me question the basis of how we practice and what is it that we
Mhm.
can do better for the patient.
I love that you say that. Thank you. Because as I'm putting this out, I'm like, okay, is it working? Does it make sense? You know, and thank you for saying that because I want exactly what you just said. Like, think, because we are so much bigger than what we're given in the health, especially in America here. Like, the society and medical wants us to be in this little tiny corner about back pain. No, so much bigger than that.
Let's
And
talk
if
about that.
we say it again,
Let's talk about that. I think it's
yeah. So
important.
it's huge. And I am not here just to again alleviate someone's back pain. Yes, I want them to feel good, but let's go back to the thought about getting rid of darkness in a room. If we look at the word subluxation, right? And everybody thinks that it's a partial dislocation of a joint, right? And that's the medical term. But if we break down the meaning of the word, the root, sub means less, lux, the root word of light, and ation is the action of something. So if a patient comes in and they're subluxated, they have less action of light in their body. Think
Mm.
about that. So when you make a correction on the primary adjustment and you open up that subluxation, now the light's on. And okay, miracle's coming. You're going to get the results. The body's going to wake up. It's going to be directed. And it's my job to help you direct it. And when it's directable, that whole subconscious mind of the patient, and this is part of the mindset and the connection of a person. Science shows us that in a mom and a baby, there's these mirror neurons, meaning that
Yeah.
they connect. Okay. Well, the mirror neuron, Stefan, is working right now with you and I, even across the pond, because
Is
we're
this what you
seeing,
mean? I'm sorry to interrupt. Is this what you mean when you talk about innate to innate communication?
yes, sir, 100%.
Ah, that makes so much sense now.
So that connection is viable. That connection is teachable. That connection to me is expected with every unplug and replug into that patient, the next, so that every time I do that, now our mirror neurons are connecting. And then what happens to me, like I don't lose any energy with patients. You've probably had the experience where Mrs. Jones is coming in and her whole team goes, I get so done when I see her. Oh, she takes everything I got. And I'm like, well, what did you give it to her for? You show up with you, turn a light on. But when we understand that mirror neuron and science, and this is amazing to me as I bounce, like Dee Dee Palmer and BJ Palmer freaking knew this in 1900. Like, wait, what? Like they wrote about this. All those green books, they write about this type of connection. Well, now science, 120 something years later, caught up and said, yes, this is viable.
We're
And when
catching
you
up.
allow this connection to happen, and you make a correction on somebody with a purpose and intent behind it, they'll have a miracle and you'll guide it.
It's one of the best products in the world, and we're so shy talking about it.
Yes. I'm not here to care if you offend anybody anymore. I'm past that point, Stefan. I
Yeah.
used to be. Oh, don't tip. I'm like, whatever. You don't like me? That's cool. I like you. I love you. I'll send you angels. I'm done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they need to hear the truth because it works. And it's been working for 100 plus years. So,
Yeah, this is the thing about beliefs, and I tend to be a guy who I have this whether it's natural, whether it's learned behavior, I'm not sure, or combination of, but I tend to think in like first principles. So I tend to think,
mm,
well, what is the truth, and how do we get to the truth? And it doesn't really matter if I believe something works or it doesn't. It freaking works.
done.
So
Done.
so yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to release this episode actually, because I hope hundreds and hundreds of chiropractors across the world listen to the miracles that we are preventing from seeing because of us in here.
Hmm.
Okay, but I also know at the same time that running a practice and coaching your associates and mentoring them can be, well, I can assume it's tough because you guys see some very complicated cases, really tough cases in your office, and things like epilepsy, seizures, autism.
Hmm.
You guys see lots of kids as well.
We have about 60% kids.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when a patient walks in with a kid, with a child who's been probably failed by the system,
Very
in
much so.
you know, what does the typical 30 days actually look like? I'm so intrigued because I'm whether I'm ashamed to say it or not, I'm not sure. But like our practice, we treat a lot of back pain, neck pain, headache, sciatica.
Yeah.
Your
No, there's no
typical
shame in
like,
anything. Yeah.
what will I see when I walk in your practice with that type of person, with that type of case?
So it's very loud in my office. Kind of fits my personality. Um, we got pictures of kids everywhere. We got toys in every room. We got snacks at the front because you got to feed these kids because they're coming in. If their blood sugar level crashes, that's not
That
good. So we have
sounds like my
stuff.
pregnant wife.
It's kind of there too. Um, I have a team of moms and some teachers who have been trained in early education and special needs kids and stuff. So I have a support team that when these kiddos walk in and parents are beyond freaked out, mom's exhausted, dad's exhausted, and again, they've tried everything under the sun. Um, when they walk in our office, the first thing they see and the first thing that we try to help them feel is hope. Like there's answers for you. And we teach them about innate, like out of the gate, like, listen, there's a power that runs us. It's just disconnected. It's not talking clean. And I ask moms this question, silly. I asked the dads too, but I go, how does a mom make eyeballs? They're like, what? As you just did? What do you mean eyeballs? How to make it? Exactly. How did the mom make an eyeball? How did a mom make a toenail? How did a mom do that? You don't have to know, do you? No. So when we talk about that power that runs the body, power that makes the body runs the body, power that makes the body heals the body, right? And I don't use those terms to patients, but I will use that like an analogy of your body knows. And people go, oh, right. Because it's so distracted with that out there is going to heal me. And the idea of ADIO, above, down, inside out, again, principles, the principle above, down. And when people start to go, oh, not in a religious sense, science fact, the game of soul, it runs the body. So when I connect the dots and the patient hears that on day one, they say, okay, there's a possibility here then, isn't there? All I got to do is give them a sliver of light, then they're going to say, okay. And then our care plans are beefy in the front because it takes repetition,
Mm.
right? If you were going to learn how to drive a stick shift car, you couldn't just do it once a month, right? You would have to learn on a daily basis. So in taking care of these kiddos and even adults for that matter, we heavy end. So anywhere from 3 to 5 or maybe even 10 adjustments in a week.
Mm, mm.
If there's an intensive, we'll do 10 adjustments a week, two a day for these kiddos to help break neurologic patterns and cycles.
Oh
But an
gosh, I
adult,
hope people are listening, Jim.
yeah, because
Honestly,
too little is doesn't going to help.
we have this limiting belief problem in the UK on a huge level. And
Hmm.
again, I don't want to get political, but it's all about the patient. And you have
Yes.
people like Dr. Heidi Harvick putting these
Yep.
like freaking wires and neurons on kids' brains and on patients' brains. And she says that sometimes you adjust someone two or three, four times a week, and the change is not going to happen. Sometimes it happens, but sometimes they see after a 12-week cycle, the change actually starts to take place.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And
Because it needs momentum, Stefan. It needs momentum. And the neural changes take time to change. Let's just like, you've been in practice for how long now?
12, no, 15 years.
15, God bless. Right? And now you can look at a subluxation from across the room, can't you? You can see the pattern. You're like, I got you. But the day one when you graduated, could you see anything?
I
Could you
was
even
thinking,
feel what a subluxation?
how do I shake this person's hand?
Right. So with repetition, again, certainty comes in that says, listen, we need our plans are 4 to 6 months minimum for care plans with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 adjustments, whatever it may be, depending on the case and the condition and the circumstance that the parents are in. So on that play, um, in the first 30 days, they're going to be adjusted a lot. And the
And
fact that they get adjusted a lot and it's every visit on the table. So there's a certain vocabulary that we use, if you will, or certain ideas that we lead on every adjustment for the first month or two, right? And when that starts to set in, every adjustment adds to the one before, adds to the one before, adds to the one before. And again, you can't change people's beliefs in a day, right? You can't change their ideals in a day. But we look for little soft signs on these kiddos changing. We look for their bodies, their neurologic patterns to be shifting, and we jump on them and we point them out that this is the change we're looking for. Even though the big goal isn't reached yet, okay? But again, it takes time to get there. And I'm honest with you. You got to be honest, Stefan, with like, I've had patients that come in. I'm like, listen, this is an 18-month to 2 year program for you. Okay. And the parents bought in because I'm the last guy. Right? We should have called our clinic the last hope or last stop because they went through everything. But I'm going to be honest and say, listen, this is this big or whatever. And when you're straightforward with that, then they know that you knew because it starts to unfold. And it happens the way that you've sort of predicted it. Now, I can't predict the game, but I can give you the idea that this is going to level, 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 level. And it starts to happen. Now,
yeah,
again, now you're the expert. Now they look at you like, this guy knows what he's talking about. Okay, I got him. And then they're going to bring more people, which is what it happens.
yeah,
I
you
know.
told me you guys built the
That's your practice.
seven-figure practice just on referrals and waiting lists and just because of results. Yeah, yeah. I do a lot of coaching with clinics here in the UK, and I have to be really mindful when I coach them because they sometimes think you have the magic. And I'm like, guys, you cannot, if you don't get results, it doesn't matter what marketing strategy I give you, what system we implement, what CRM you use. It really doesn't matter.
Yep.
You need to get
Nope.
people results.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And
Exactly. Yeah.
this is so exciting. And speaking of that, obviously that sometimes you would see a very um short-term change, like instant change. What are
Yep.
some of those physical signs, those changes that you see in a patient's body when that shift does happen on the bench, on the table?
So we do some muscle testing, not in the AK world of things where I'm checking every little different muscle, but literally just um, a shoulder hold,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So, and you're looking for connection. You could touch any point, touch any part of the body, and check to see if it's connected. So we'll look for that strength to come on
And
as
you
they
do
go
that
through their,
with the kids as well?
yeah, when they can start. So if a kiddo is probably like 4 or 5, we can muscle test them. And we show them, and they're all like, and if you look at some of our Instagram stuff, they're in there. You got these little kids, and they're like, "You can't move my arm, doc." And they're like, and you have them action, and if they activate neuromechanical receptors, like, and if it's disconnected because it's not firing, it's going to short out. So these kids sit up on the table once they start to get to that point, because I got some kids that we can't test, and I'll talk about them in a minute.
Mm.
But the ones that are still connected and on, they're looking for this. They want to. And we can look at a leg length change just by simply touching and sending in neuromechanoreceptors using the muscle spindles, Golgi tendons, Parsinian corpuscles, like activation. You can watch a leg length go from this to this. And I'm pointing it out. I'm like, Mom, look at this. And I touch them, like, look at it. And they're like, oh my gosh. So we can watch that neural pattern shifting. And if I have an audience, mom or dad sitting there, I'm like, watch this. And then when they get done, I'm always, again, poking. They'll, like, there's just this weird sense of, literally after every adjustment, there's this sense that they just, and I hear this all the time, like, whoa, well, that was different. And it's all tonally, not all, mostly tonally based. And that sense, I'm like, do you see that? Do you see that? You felt that, didn't you? I go, feels a little lighter in there, doesn't it? And they're like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, now my saying is always powers on. I go, powers on, you got this. Give them a hug and send them out the door. But that sense of shoulders drop, jaw opens, like there's a physiologic response that parasympathetic allows them to sense and feel like that.
It's so interesting what you're talking about because my wife, again, I told you before the show, Abby's a chiropractor.
Yep.
She actually didn't study pediatrics and specialize in pregnancy only after we had our first son and we had like complications of the birth. He was screaming and crying, and that after the first adjustment, it was like, whoa, instant.
Yes.
Instant. And
Yes.
I always think the purest form of the chiropractic outcome is kids because they haven't even babies like they can't tell you it hurts here, it doesn't hurt there.
Yep.
But she does the like his behavior changes. He had a concussion last year. He fell from the top of the stairs. She does these primitive reflexes, does her magic. He's like a different child.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm like, I don't give a damn
Yep.
what I believe. The stuff
Yep.
works.
You saw it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
I went and I adjusted a probably a 22-hour-old baby. Had a patient who delivered at home, so I got the call, and I drove over there the next morning,
Wow.
and mom's in bed, the baby's in bed, and as I got done, the mom is sitting there, and I'm balancing this kiddo, just like you just said. So here she is, 22 hours old, in this tight physiology, knees kind of flexed up, right? And everybody goes, well, that's just how they were in the womb. It's normal. I'm like, no. So literally, when we reset her nervous system, within a minute, here's this little baby now, totally chill. And the mom can see the physiology in her baby. She's like, oh my gosh, she is so chill. Look at her. And I go, you're welcome. Yes, because that sets the stage. So now the neurology, you can witness it because it's hard to put into words, Stefan, because again, how do you explain a kid just letting go? Well, they just let go. Your son got adjusted and just snapped back into line. Like, oh, I can think again.
His personality is completely different.
Just because think about this. Think about a subluxation as noise. So your kid is trying to function and his brain is trying to have a conversation during a rock concert.
Very loud, very out of sync.
And you can't hear anything. So you're like, forget it. Because that's the spark of signals, abnormal pattern coming into the nervous system over. And the kiddos, they just stop. Because you got to think about this in development. The mind doesn't really turn on, and I'm going to put it in my words. The mind doesn't turn on until the age of 7. Right? And we know this in kids, they're completely subconscious beings. Think about this. They're completely subconscious beings for the first 7 years, because in the 7 years, that's when the prefrontal cortex, they say, wakes up.
Mm.
So there's no filter. They don't know how to filter yet. We do, because we have a mind, and the mind is the disconnect between conscious and subconscious, because we can think, judge, and reason, which takes till about the age of 25 before it's fully developed.
With some of us a bit longer.
Me too. Mine kicked in 2 years ago, Stefan. But it did. Woo! Yeah. But when these kids, they don't know how to think, judge, reason, and we look at our 5-year-olds and like, you should know better. No, they don't. They don't. Again, to the point of when we started, you asked, my kids don't listen to me. They still really don't. God bless them. But they follow me because they watch. They follow because then they learn. And they watch and they see results and they go, well, if he did that, I'm going to do that too. Good idea. Because we've walked the walk. But these kids in this play, when we open up the door to let light on again, the physiology will shift in one behavior, which is the soft signs. I mean, again, he might be having seizures still, but his behavior is changing. His eyeballs are changing. His contact, his ability to look at you and see you, as opposed to just being off in space. They come right back to you again. Like your personality and your son, when your wife tuned him up, was like, boom, I'm back. Okay. And again, not done yet, because there's a constantness of growth. We think about this in chiropractic to this conversation, like we don't adjust enough. Like, you're a dad, you're a business owner, you got multiple businesses. Life is easy, right, Stefan? You're like, no, that's not easy. No, so the amount of stress and duress that you have to deal with on a daily basis. So I think for you, yeah, if you get checked once a month, that's probably fine. Wrong. You should be checked almost every day because you're a dad. Simply because it's a lot.
For the dads out there.
You good. Check me. Make sure I'm clear. I got to think right.
It's actually funny you say check me, because again, with our associates and our team, they're amazing, but sometimes they have a problem with like the whole money mindset thing, and this is another conversation for another time. But when I go to the dentist and they tell me my teeth are healthy, I still would pay my fee. And I'm like, I'm happy for it.
Yes, yes. And so interesting you say that. That's because that's exactly right. Like when we go through this process with neuroadaptive technique and we use the muscle testing stuff, people are excited. And I'll explain that through the adjustment. I'm like, this is on, because my patient base, even the kiddos know, like I said, they're excited to try and beat Dr. Jim today. They're excited. They're like, I'm on, I can feel it, I'm in game. And they're like, oh, rats, or they're strong and they're like, yeah, beat Dr. Jim. And I'm like, attaboy, high five. Because I don't have to make a correction that day. Because the system, wow, it's working.
Yep.
Now that builds again, to your point, I want my teeth checked. But I'm going to get them checked. Whether they need to do something or not is not my point. I'm going to get them checked.
Yeah.
And that's the game of, again, our PVA is, 3 digits, and our retention. I still got my very first patient from 33 years ago. Okay. And a lot of the first bunch of people, they've watched me transform because they're empowered.
I want to come and see you.
And I'd love to see you. Come on over.
That would take like 12 hours.
Come lay at my house. I got 4 empty bedrooms. My kids are all gone.
There we go. All right, let's bring it back to the patient. So you said something earlier, and you said we should rebrand to the last center or the last clinic or something like that. The last stop. Yeah. And I think the rebranding for the future should be the first stop.
Yes, sir.
So what do you wish? I'll give you the magic stick. What do you wish a parent knows, every parent knows about our profession before they make a decision to bring the child? Because I think we are the last stop, unfortunately. And I think it's our fault sometimes.
I think so too.
It's not the patient's fault.
There's a lot of infighting in the sense of, we got chiropractors around here that are like, you shouldn't adjust a kid until they're 5 or whatever. And I'm like, who said this? And where's your proof? What are you're just making up stuff. You're talking on dogma. So my first intention would be that parents know that this is safe. Like, I'm not going to break your neck. Okay.
Mm.
And one, like, this whole technique is not what we see on TikTok. Okay. It's not about making a noise and, putting on a microphone and all this other stuff you see. I go, but that's what they come in with. And I'm like, no, it's very safe and very gentle. Um, and the earlier, the better. If I can adjust this, like this mom, Lisa, she got adjusted through her whole pregnancy, home birth. And I don't want to say that birth was easy because obviously mom has to push, but in the sense of she got adjusted through baby number 3 and 4, not 1 and 2, makes a comment again, man, I'm glad I did this.
Mm.
Like I feel, and the baby too, nerves that wire together, fire together. So in a sense of baby number 4 being wired in a family that's busy and going in 20 different directions, that kid's neurology is sympathetic dominant. He's giddy up. Let's go. I'm running. You got to get in the car in 3 minutes. I already know because I've done this for 280 days. Let's go. Right. So if parents knew and if doctors knew, like, listen, earlier the better. And once you start, do you stop? Why? You going to stop going to the dentist because you got no cavities? Like, it's not about pains. It's about function. It's about vitality, which is what I want to bring back to the profession. This is vital. You want to live well? Get adjusted. What hurts? Nothing. Why would I wait till I hurt? No. When that happens, the body can crazily freaking work for you. And when it's working for you, then when the turmoil comes, you win. Now, I got a crazy story. So as the world, you know, you get these senses that you should do something, right?
Mm.
And then you push them back. Like, I should do this. I don't have time. You should do that. Geez. No, I don't want to do that. And that's innate trying to get your attention, right? So 2 years ago in May, I was in my backyard and I was goofing around on my little four-wheeler quad runner with a plow on the front that I have to use to shovel the snow. And I got a little hill about 2 feet tall, and I'm coming around. My daughter was over the dog, and I'm going around and I'm zipping along because that's what I do. And I come over this little ridge, and I have the plow on the front and learned physics that day that 300 pounds on the front of a plow going fast comes over, the weight comes down, and I literally stopped. I got bucked over the handlebars, punched myself in the nose, did a 180 and a somersault, and landed about 20 feet away from the quad. And long story short, broke my nose in 2 places, and I fractured L2, 3, and 4.
Whoa.
And I went laying there, and I'm like, oh, I pop up. I got some blood on my pants. I look down, and my nose starts pouring out. My kid's freaking out, and I'm like, oh my God. Okay, all right. And everybody's freaking out. And my pain level was a 0.
Hmm.
0. So I'll give you a little thumbnail. So when I fell off, my wife's like, call the paramedics and 911. I'm like, just hang on, let me get my bearings, because I was up and thought and cognitive. My nose is bleeding, so we go to the hospital. And this is, I'm gonna slam medicine for just a second, so if it offends somebody, sorry, sort of. So I go in, and if you want to get in front of the waiting list of people, tell them you got thrown off of a moving vehicle at 30 miles an hour plus. So I get in front of everybody. They're like, Claussen. I got ice on my nose, and I'm like, me? Look at all these people. I just walked in. What? So they take me to the back. My wife was like, we want a CAT scan because I knew I had a concussion, right? So I busted my nose. And I said, well, you might want to check my neck. I had this front squat fail thing, collar. It got some disc issues up there. I want to look at it. Does it hurt? And I said, no. He's like, well, we're not doing that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, you might want to check my back. I landed pretty hard. He's like, does it hurt? And I go, yes, right at my SI, right there. He's like, okay. So they took a picture of my pelvis. Come back, and they're like, pelvis was fine. Did a CAT scan on my head, found out the 2 fractures. Okay. Had to get surgery to get my nose fixed up. Great. 3 weeks later, my daughter's graduating from University of Toledo. We go out to the party and the celebration, and in our fashion, we get a keg of beer for all of her friends. I did 2 keg stands that day. Probably shouldn't say that on live action, but I did
It's all good.
because I can. And about midnight, we're going back to the hotel, and all of a sudden I can't pee. And I'm like, okay, well, this is weird.
This
Never
is
had
how
that
long
experience.
after?
But pardon?
That's like 3 weeks after.
3.5 weeks later. And I couldn't pee all of a sudden. I was like, okay, well, this is weird. So I'm up all night and I'm thinking in my head, and I'm like, must have a kidney stone. Maybe I hit hard 3 weeks ago, jostled it loose, prioritizing healing. My nose had to heal so I could breathe. I had that fixed. The rods came out, nose breathes, everything's fine. I'm up all night chugging water now, trying to flush this thing, thinking if that's what was going to happen. 5:30 in the morning, my wife gets up and she's like, "We going home?" And I'm like, "It's a 5 hour drive." And I said, "I'm going to the hospital. I got to get a catheter and drain my bladder." I'm like, holy cow. Literally, they drained 2,400 milliliters of urine out of my bladder, which is not good. Should have ruptured and died probably, but I didn't. And they did a CAT scan. The first thing the doctor says to me, he's like, "You probably got a tumor." I'm like, "I don't think it's a tumor, bro." I go, "It's got to be a kidney stone." So we're going back and forth. Do the CAT scan, comes back. He's like, we're clueless. We don't know what happened. He's like, "You have no tumor. The kidneys are fine. You have no kidney stones." He's like, "Oh, but we found these three acute fractures of L2, 3, and 4." And I went, "Oh, well, that explains everything." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I go, 2, 3, 4 keeps it off the floor. Remember that neurology talk in school? I go and talk, and he's like, "What does that do with your bladder?" I look at him like, "Okay, you need to go back to school, bro, because it's all tied together." So literally, because of the traumas, and literally because of prioritizing, my head had to heal first. And again, I've been getting adjusted through this whole process, and my pain level was none. I discovered the fractures on a CAT scan because my bladder shut off, because my brain said, pay attention. So at that moment, I had to reorganize and went, okay, well, let me pause. I can't be on the table all day anymore. I got to heal. So my team took over. I literally went to part time, but that's when I created this whole technique, because then I was sitting down and I'm like, huh, I got an idea. Let me write that down. And over the last 2 years is when this whole process was created, but it was created out of necessity, one, and I created the time. So you brought this up earlier, like you're in the grind, and if you're just grinding, yeah, you get bored. And yes, you can become exhausted. And yes, you can become fatigued. And if you don't pause, and if you don't listen to the pause, I ignored it for a lot of years until this happened. And I went, I should slow down. But I
Mm.
didn't slow down to stop. I'm not done yet. I slowed down to get downloaded so I can create this and then gift it. Like, this is your gift. Here, take this and run, please.
The
Because this
un
gets the idea of the profession then back on. And the level, you can't make this stuff up, Stefan. Like, how in the world does 5 fractures not hurt? Although at the time, I was training 3 docs at once. I was literally getting checked and balanced 3 times a day because they would all work on me. Check, check, check. My potential. We talk about chiropractic potential. How about that for chiropractic potential? My immune system, my ability to recover, repair, rejuvenate was like 11,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
healed.
It's so interesting. The universe has the like crazy ways to work around like everything is how it should be
Yes.
right now. And yeah, that's so interesting because we are so here in the UK, in the States might be different. We're so brainwashed about pain, 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 pain from a university level, from a college level.
Same,
And
same.
it's very challenging to reprogram a student's mindset when they graduate. And that's just one example that pain is an awful outcome measure.
Mm-hmm. No, terrible.
Lack of. But I actually, funny enough, this is interesting you bring that up. I was 24, 23, the prime of my health, what I should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Zero pain. The opposite happened to me. I'm on the shift and I've got like 70, 80 patients and I'm going like crazy. And my wife and I at the time worked in the same practice and I keep going to the toilet to pee in the same
Mm-hmm.
shift. And the last two was like blood coming out.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, and I was actually like the tough guy. No, I'm fine. She goes, I'm taking you to hospital right now. We
Yes,
go
sir.
in. They think I have a kidney stone. So they did take a CT scan. No kidney stones. We think it's just an infection. Take these antibiotics. The following day, I have a call from the consultants from the emergency department. Here in the UK, that never, ever, 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 ever happens. So I
Okay.
know it's the news is going to be
Not
not good.
good.
They say, hey, the nurse, the way they set you up, they took the scan a little bit higher. So we saw the shadow outside your left lung. We're not sure what it is, but it's a big shadow. Come back. Anyways, cut long story short, turns out I had a tumor the size of like a
Wow.
potato
Wow.
growing between my heart and my lung. Zero symptom.
Yeah.
No symptoms whatsoever.
Yeah. 100%.
So if I'm waiting for the pain to be bad, then we're missing the whole story.
Totally are. Which is why, and again, in chiropractic, why are we waiting for someone to get hurt? Like we have so much to offer, and we have so much to gift to the societies and to these families and to these people about health and vitality. And it starts with that understanding from the chiropractor that says, oh, this is a possibility. And when you have the certainty that that's the gift you're giving, not just to make them feel better to drive a golf ball or to run a track or just sit at their job and drive a car, but that gives them the opportunity that says, if you do this, then your game and health, then like repair, yeah, rejuvenate, got it. I mean, this was the hardest. I will tell you, Stefan, like stopping with no pain. To your point, like this was the hardest year and a half of my life because I had to pause,
Yeah.
and it didn't hurt. It's easy to go, oh, I broke something. Look, I can't move. Just look at me. Stare at me. But it didn't hurt.
Mm.
But I knew that I had to heal. So hard. And again, our mindset, every school is wrapped up in pain, 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 pain. And so my experience is, as all of life happens to gift me, nothing bad, just gifts. And what am I going to do forward with them? How am I going to help lead with them so that somebody else doesn't have to necessarily fall down like I did, you know? Um, and if we can avoid some of that, again, lead. So I walk first, and so do you. And so do all most chiros. But we have to get a bigger idea that says chiropractic is for the masses and chiropractic is for people, not pain, not pain, people. And if you got a
Chiropractic is
spine, you need me. You need me. I'm here for you. I don't need you, but you need me, and I'll help you. And I'll teach you that the power is from above down, inside and out. And when you own that, you'll be better. Promise.
and now you're teaching chiropractors your neuroadaptive technique and very, very exciting. And I'm going to follow your journey, hopefully all the way.
Please, thank you.
And I guess the hope is let's see how we can make this a widely adopted technique and protocol and system. If that does happen and when it happens, what's your kind of, like we try to look into the future and we say, I have a vision of chiropractic and where it's going. What do you see in the next 10 years, especially with
Yeah,
the thing you'll be launching and teaching? And
that's a great question. And what I see is chiropractic first, to your point. We should be first. And if people understand, because again, the grassroots, I mean, we've been pushed down since the inception of the AMA back in the 60s when they tried to get rid of us in America. And we're not medical and practicing medicine without a license. And all these chiropractors went to jails for helping serve people because the grassroots version of this is that chiropractic didn't dissolve because people wouldn't let it dissolve.
mm,
Because the old school chiropractors actually got miracles and people went there because they were sick and they were off and they understood the benefit of chiropractic. So my vision in 10 years from now is that people find us because they choose. You don't have to choose this path. God bless. Right? People live to 100 without ever seeing a chiropractor. Okay, good for you. Right? But if you want potential, if you want your body to give whatever it has, then find a chiropractor that knows what he's doing or she's doing, and let's help that community and let's be in that realm. But we're first. We are first and foremost. And if it doesn't work, and yes, you need surgeries, please go over there, get surgery. But first and foremost, activate. So that's how I
first,
see.
we treat people, we don't treat pain.
That's
Like
it.
it, like it. And I'm conscious of our time as well, Jim. It's been amazing and so insightful. But one final question, and I'm kind of
Please.
have a side project that I haven't told any guests about. You're the first person to hear this. I'm collecting this one answer from every guest and I want to see what repeated patterns we get.
Okay.
Because I do believe that for the next generation to be more successful than us, they have to stand on the shoulders of giants like yourself, even with previous old fractures of
Yes.
the lemur spine.
They're still working. I'm good.
It's amazing to see how you've recovered as well. But you've obviously worked with quite a few docs. Now you're teaching. You're one of the greatest as well. What differentiates the average from the truly great chiropractors? What have you seen? What have you observed?
I think it comes down to what we started with, Stefan, and that's the certainty of the doc, how they show up. The doctors that, and there's guys, again, the straight chiropractor, right, who just simply sets atlases or just adjusts sacrums or whichever end you want to be on. But they have such certainty behind themselves and innate, and they trust that innate is doing the work. Miracle. So to make a good chiropractor, a great chiropractor, they have to understand the principles of what chiropractic was founded on. That there's this universal intelligence that gives life. And when you, again, activate light, darkness leaves, period. And when a chiropractor understands that principle, as simple as it is, it's very complex as you think about, but that's what makes you great. And teaching chiropractors how to get that and light it up, that's the mission.
That's exciting. Next time we speak on part two in the future, I'm sure you'll
Please.
be even more fired up.
There's a good possibility of that,
Yeah.
Stefan.
Jim, thank you so much, sir. This has been a pleasure. How can people reach out? What's the best way to find out more about you, what you do? I'm going to put some stuff in the show notes.
Great, thank you. So again, they can reach us at the neuroadaptivetechnique.com. That's our website. So we're going to load up all kinds of stuff on there. We got all kinds of things that my team is helping me create and getting things out of this head onto platforms so you guys can all click, watch, and play. And then also on Instagram, Neuroadaptive Technique. We're posting stuff all the time. So we're trying to create a movement here. So those are the two ways to get a hold of us. And if you direct message us, my team will get messages to me, and I'll be happy to respond and get back to anybody that has questions.
There we go.
And show up in April. I got another one coming up at the end of summer. I don't have the exact date in front of me, so reach out and we'll help you guys understand.
Yeah. I can see it being such a valuable workshop, hands-on, and hopefully one day we can even showcase that to the rest of the world if you stream it digital. No pressure, but I was telling you about my wife's platform where we can hopefully help you distribute. When something is so valuable, there will be a way to do it.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Yes. So
I'm the old guy. So I'm like, what? I'll send you a letter in the mail. You'll get it in a month and a half, Stefan.
which is probably the best way to do it now because everyone is on social media and
yeah, all good. But we're going to make that happen. I appreciate you bringing that to my attention because I've been told that too. And again, when you hear things more than once, then again, the universe is talking to me. So we'll create something here. I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you very much, so for your time. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And that's the end of the pod. Thank you.